Marvel Studios' Moon Knight has some otherworldly action, which is why I'm breaking it down with VFX supervisor Sean Faden. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Lorraine.
Now, let's kick off with episode 2, where we see Mr. Knight facing off against that invisible jackal. How did you and your team first start to approach that scene?
There was a lot of weight on this scene and making sure that it landed well. It actually starts in the alleyways. You've got Mr. Knight being sort of blown through this fence. We spent a lot of time pre-visiting this scene because he had the complications of having to have an invisible opponent. The jackal is only visible, occasionally during this sequence. We had a lot of storyboards that we got from one of our main storyboard artists, Phil Langone. It wasn't for every single sequence, but when we did get them, they were extremely helpful. In the end, how we shot it was we had a stunt person in a gray suit pushing and pulling our stunt Moon Knight or Oscar and Layla around. For me, the most important thing to capture for real was leaping or landing or running. We did shoot, when possible, references. I think that if you end up doing too much CG throughout every single shot, you end up losing some of the reality. So we always tried to shoot with real stunts.
Well, we're talking battles. We have to talk about the end of the series, where we see your techniques taken to new heights, quite literally, with a huge God versus God battle in Cairo. How did you go about approaching that scene and bringing it to life?
It was a combination of a lot of previs, some storyboarding, a lot of back and forth with our stunt team, trying to figure out what the best flow of fight choreography was going to be for these moments, and making sure that we were seeing, Khonshu getting to be heroic and seeing Ammit use some of her crocodile-related fight moves. We actually did a lot of work within the Chamber of the Gods, because we have a scene that takes place there where Khonshu and Ammit are normal size, which means they're actually 9 feet tall. We had prevised all this stuff, and then we went and we shot a lot of background plates within our set, which sometimes we're just looking at like a column and the rest would be blue screen. They created costumes for Ammit and Khonshu, real costumes that moved like the real thing, that looked like the real thing, that could be lit like the real thing. So it wasn't just guys in gray suits running around. We actually had a lightable Khonshu and Ammit in our scene, and they were able to act against each other. The scale of the two characters mainly became an issue when we were dealing with other actors who need to interact with them. So if Oscar was talking to Khonshu, then Kareem, who played Khonshu on set, would be wearing an eyeline pole. To make him look 9 feet tall, it was literally 2 ping pong balls on the end of a composite rod that was attached to his like a lightweight vest that our props department made.
The gods are already quite tall, but then they grow even larger. How did you create this scene at such an epic scale?
So they're almost as tall as the pyramids, and they're bashing around and wreaking havoc. Weta created a full CG Giza plateau based on some LiDAR that we had gotten from Disney Archives. We had a lot of work that went into sort of figuring out just how much dust or how much light should be hitting these characters to make them feel big. And what we found was like the less light we put on them, the more that we sort of played the light falling off on them, the bigger they felt.
This is really just a tiny drop in the bucket of all of the action in the series. Looking back, are there any moments that you think fans might have missed?
The series is jam-packed with lots of cool details. I don't think you're going to catch it on the first viewing. I really think it's one of those things you have to watch a few times to really appreciate all the detail and heart that went into these moments.
All right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go start my rewatch right now. So, Sean, thank you so much for talking with us.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Lorraine.
And everyone, be sure to go watch Marvel Studios' Moon Knight. All episodes are now streaming only on Disney+.